Good morning. We've got a little history lesson today on the next chapter in our history book. We just finished learning about the Colosseum and Circus Maximus, where they had chariot races. And today we're going to look at the famous place of Pompeii, a city in ancient Rome that was famously destroyed by a volcano, as we're going to see. This entire city, very large city at the time, about 10,000 people lived in Pompeii. And unusually, we can still see this Roman city today because of that volcano. It preserved parts of the town that's been excavated later, as we'll see, so that people could truly see what it was like for people living, over 1,000 years ago in the time of the Roman Empire. So let's take a look at our book. I'm going to be reading from the history book that you have access to on BrightThinker. And we're starting on page 82, which is chapter 13 on Pompeii. It says ruins. The Romans were very good builders, which we know. Remains of their bridges, roads, aqueducts, and buildings are found in many places. A few ancient Roman bridges are still used today. Ruins are what remains of an old building or structure. The remains of many ancient buildings stand in Rome and other places. These remains are called ruins. Roman ruins are thousands of years old. These old ruins are usually damaged. So you can imagine if it's about 2,000 years old. Weather caused most of the damage. Heat, cold, rain, snow, hail, and wind all had an effect. This actually ties in really well with what we're going to learn about in science next. And these are all natural ways that change ecosystems, and it also has an impact on man-made things like buildings and bridges. Earthquakes and fires have caused problems too. People have also taken pieces from the ruins. Wars and air pollution have also had a harmful effect or impact. Pollution, by the way, is something that makes land, water, or air dirty and unsafe, which we'll get into more in science soon as well. Here's a good picture of some of the Pompeii ruins. This is actually a photograph. So this is truly what it would look like just in the last few decades. If you went there today, you would see some of these ruins. It can be hard to picture what these buildings looked like in Roman times. However, there is an area in Italy where nature has preserved these ancient buildings. This area is southeast of Rome, near the Bay of Naples and Mount Vesuvius. Mount Vesuvius is a volcano. A volcano is formed when melted or molten rock pushes up from deep underground. One of our reading groups was reading about this a few weeks ago. So it's when molten rock pushes its way to the Earth's surface. Molten rock flows like mud. It pushes through cracks in the Earth's crust. It then flows across Earth's surface. Later, it cools and becomes hard. Now, sometimes molten rock explodes out of a volcano. This is called a volcanic eruption. Other times, it's just building a volcano. But when it explodes, that's an eruption. Rock and hot ash explode in the air and fall around the volcano. When this happens, plant and animal life are damaged or destroyed. Sometimes smoke, dirt, and debris from a volcanic eruption can block out the sun. The sky can stay dark for days as debris falls back to Earth, which I've got a video to show you about that. Very interesting. So the smoke itself and the debris, which is parts of, as you can see up here, of a building that's been broken off. Pieces left over after something's been destroyed. So here is Mount Vesuvius, the Bay of Naples. As you can see, that's where it is on the Italian peninsula, pretty far south. And Mount Vesuvius makes its way all the way to Pompeii. Now, Mount Vesuvius erupted on August 24th, 79 CE. Rock and ash exploded from the volcano. The debris fell like rain for 2 days. 2 days. Things were just falling from the side, little sky. Little bits of rock and things from buildings, and also the dust just filled the sky. The town of Pompeii was 6 miles away from Mount Vesuvius. 6 miles. Hot gas killed many people without warning. Then rock and ash from the eruption buried the town. Pompeii disappeared under 23 feet of volcanic debris. The debris damaged every building in Pompeii. That same debris preserved Pompeii as it was at the moment the disaster struck. The town remained buried and forgotten for almost 1,700 years. So it was so far buried, as you can see in this painting. There's Vesuvius's eruption going down to Pompeii. It was so covered that people didn't even know that there was anything down there. The buried town was found in 1763. Since then, people from all over the world come to explore Pompeii. Some people come to search for statues or gold coins. Some people come to study Roman buildings. Others want to find out about volcanic eruptions. So some people are interested in more the history, others in the science. Everyone wants to know what happened on that awful day, and it took years of digging to find certain answers. Today, more than half of Pompeii has been dug up. This work is done by experts called archaeologists. As you can see on the side, archaeologists are experts who study ancient people and objects from their time period that remain. And usually it's done through excavation, where they are digging through things and uncovering. And then they're experts in knowing details about that ancient group. They're still digging today. They're still digging through the ruins of Pompeii slowly and carefully. While they want to find out more, they do not want to do any more harm to the ancient city's remains. Pompeii has taught us much about the Roman people. The buildings of Pompeii are filled with things people used every day. These things help us understand how ancient Romans lived. Pompeii was a town of about 20,000 people. Oh, I was off. 20,000, not 10,000. The town was built next to a river. The river flowed into the Bay of Naples. Ships from all over the Roman world brought goods that could be traded in Pompeii. Now, the people of Pompeii traded wine, olive oil, grain, pottery, and wool cloth. In the busy marketplace, farmers sold fruits and vegetables. Politicians made speeches. Poets shared their latest poems. Here is an old drinking fountain, strange as it is. Pompeii had more than 200 places to eat and drink. Craftspeople made and sold metal cups and dishes. Shops made and sold perfume. The town also had bakers, builders, and bankers. The people of Pompeii loved art. Paintings decorated the walls of shops and houses. Huge statues decorated the temples and the town forum. Beautiful mosaics decorated the walls and the floors of houses and public buildings. The people of Pompeii also had fun. They kept dogs and birds as pets. They built beautiful gardens. They bathed at the public baths or the town swimming pool. They wrestled at the town gym. The people of Pompeii watched plays and concerts in town theaters. They even watched gladiators fight in a town amphitheater. Smaller than the Colosseum, but still similar to the Colosseum. The people of Pompeii drank from public fountains. By the way, this is the mosaic floor. And it's possibly, that was a bath in the middle. The people of Pompeii drank from public fountains. They wrote messages on the walls of almost every building. They built huge temples to their god. Venus, the god of love, seems to have been their favorite. We know all these things because Mount Vesuvius erupted about 2,000 years ago. The eruption was a disaster for the people of Pompeii. But for historians, though, the eruption provided a helpful way to learn about life in the Roman world. So sometimes terrible things like that can be used for good, where there are all of these people who died in that eruption. It was a natural disaster, but thousands of years later, people are actually benefiting from that volcanic eruption because we can learn more about history that way. So It's sad that it happened, but we can choose to see some of the wonderful things that we can learn from it. So I've got a very interesting video, or at least I think it's very interesting, of it time-stamped across the days. The video is not real, obviously, since this happened thousands of years ago. But it's a recreation of what it might have looked like to have the sky covered with that dust and debris and have the volcano travel over to Pompeii. I think it's fascinating. So it's going to show it over several days' time, how it changed. It's just a few minutes long, the video is, but you can watch that after you're done with this video, and tomorrow we'll have some notes to take over it. I'll talk to you later. Bye.